Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be doing the Cleveland Cavaliers preview. Now, this is a team that last year shocked everyone. They were a squad that won a bunch of games. Specifically, the Cleveland Cavaliers last year went 64-18, lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals to the Indiana Pacers 4-1. Now, they're looking to avenge themselves. The roster is almost the same, with Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance being the two big acquisitions. Before we start today's video, I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comments section. What are your thoughts on the Cavaliers, and did they do enough? Today we'll be discussing the preview and predictions for the 2025-26 season. Hit that like and subscribe button for more content like this. So, the Cavaliers are looking to cement their contender status. They hope for at least another 55, probably a 60-plus win season. That's the expectation now. But the biggest question, can the Cavs finally break through in the playoffs and make their way into the finals? Similarly, how to the Indiana Pacers did this past year. The Cavaliers are fresh off a 64-win season in the first year of Kenny Atkinson's head coaching job with the Cavaliers, but a disappointing second-round exit to the Indiana Pacers left probably a sour taste in everybody's mouth, not just fans. With their all-star / all-NBA core entering its prime, the Cavaliers are built for regular season dominance. The question: can Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen deliver in the postseason? Now, in the offseason, their moves were Sam Merrill returning on a 4-year, $38 million deal. They churned Ty Jerome, even though they didn't trade him or anything, just let him walk. And in a deal for Isaac Okoro, they got themselves Lonzo Ball, who is a multi-positional defender, a guy who is a solid three-point shooter. And yes, there are questions about his durability, but if he can do what we hope, he can be a adequate replacement at, replacing Ty Jerome. I don't know why I lost my train of thought there. Now, Larry Nance Jr. returning on a 1-year minimum deal. Tyrese Proctor could be a bargain bin addition in the second round with the 49th pick. Niang's a draft and stash guy that brought back the Aussie Luke Travers on a two-way. Norchet Amir and Chaney Johnson are probably going to be guys that end up on their G League squad. Ty Jerome leaving for Memphis, Isaac Okoro to Chicago, and Chuma Okeke got his team option declined. I think for them, knowing that last year they had the best regular season record in the East, there was MVP level stretches from Mitchell, and Evan Mobley winning Defensive Player of the Year, albeit he probably wouldn't have won it if the deep vein thrombosis had not occurred to Victor Wembanyama. But he still put up an all-NBA season, and he's someone that could one day maybe end up having a similar career to Anthony Davis if everything goes well. And Jarrett Allen's still solid. Now, the injury to Garland and Garland having some inconsistency, the bench shooting issues, and their disastrous 29% from three in the Pacers series are some things that probably stick out in the minds of fans. The Cavaliers added Lonzo Ball not only to balance their backcourt defensively, but to give a secondary playmaker to play alongside Donovan Mitchell or to relieve Darius Garland whenever needed. And re-signing Sam Merrill was huge for space. Larry Nance coming back is going to be a veteran glue piece who can play alongside either Allen or Mobley or be the small ball five. And getting developmental prospects like Tyrese Proctor is going to really help, I think, cushion the loss of Ty Jerome, who in the playoffs really cratered himself. Kobe Altman did get an extension, so seems like Dan Gilbert wants continuity in the leadership in this roster. We could assume that Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen will be the starting lineup, with Karis LeVert being someone that left and being replaced, and Ty Jerome being the other guy that left. Lonzo Ball with Sam Merrill, I think Larry Nance Jr. gives you multiple options off the bench. And this is a squad that at the very least is going to be able to defensively be one of the better ones. We know how good of a coach Kenny Atkinson is, and having 4 all-star level, 2 all-star level, and 2 all-NBA level players in your starting lineup, and just a great defense with Mobley and Allen, I think is some of the biggest things. And having youthful stars, basically everybody except Donovan Mitchell is at this point below 28. I believe Donovan Mitchell at this point he's born in 1996, so he's 29. He just turned 29 2 days ago. And I believe having such a young core with that much potential makes things way more interesting than they typically would be. Now, I think having the roster now bolstered with more veterans who've gone deep into the playoffs is another thing that they're probably very happy about. And the Cavaliers roster at this point is one that is almost the same as last year, but it's been tweaked to have some improvements. Plus, I think Naquan Tomlin, Craig Porter Jr., Jalen Tyson are guys that they all expect to step up. Dean Wade could get flipped. And I think Max Strus is another guy that he'll either start over DeAndre Hunter or he'll come off the bench because he is coming back from that Jones fracture. So, to me, when you look at all of this, I think knowing that this is going to be a squad that still has the main pieces that made them great, and they arguably have gotten better at perimeter shooting. Now, inconsistency is still a question, but there is a better balance in scoring, especially for when they get the playoffs. Does this hinge on durability concerns from not just Lonzo Ball, Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Max Strus and DeAndre Hunter? Yeah. And are you hoping that Evan Mobley and the other players are able to continue taking steps forwards in the development of their offensive creation so there isn't an over-reliance on Donovan Mitchell for offensive creation? So Kenny Atkinson continuing at the helm, his balanced philosophy has shaped the Cavs' identity from the JB Bickerstaff defensive first philosophy that I think the front office knew, hey, we got to go get somebody to get some defense. And after not just the first year with Kenny Atkinson, but before that, this is now consecutive playoff disappointments. Regardless that it's a new coach, there is pressure mounting here because the core could be changed. They're a team that is above the second apron by $20 million or so. There's going to probably be a move. Maybe they do it for this year and then next offseason they make a move. But this core is locked in together. Their future draft assets are heavily tied up in Utah-Atlanta swaps, and they kind of do have limited maneuverability in free agency and trades. But getting a multi-positional guard in Tyrese Proctor is kind of like a poor man's Dyson Daniels, who can be a secondary playmaker, can defend 1 through 3, who shoots well, is solid. They have a drafting staff, as we said, from Saliu Niang, 58th pick. So if Darius Garland, now coming back from that toe surgery and wanting to remind people of the player he was 2 years ago, then Evan Mobley coming off of his Defensive Player of the Year and All-NBA performance could expand his game and his offensive role. And Sam Merrill being paid and now seeming like someone who's probably their most reliable floor spacer until Max Strus comes back is huge, because outside of that, you're really hoping Lonzo Ball, who, if healthy, Ball is perfect for the system. He's a big guard who defends, moves the ball, takes the pressure off of Garland Mitchell, is a league average three-point shooter, if not better, and hoping that the ability to have him in lineups will stabilize anything that could occur with injuries for Garland or Mitchell. And there's also, as we said, Craig Porter Jr., who I'm a fan of, but that's really going to determine the floor and the ceiling for the Cavaliers. So how far will the Cavs go? I think the regular season dominance is just going to continue, but the playoff advancement depends on the offensive balance and the three-point shooting. The Cavs know that their championship window is open as the league is having parity. So second round exits, don't cut it. That can't continue. So if I were going to say things to watch, the development of Tyrese Proctor, Craig Porter Jr., Jalen Tyson, and Naquan Tomlin. If any of those guys become rotational players, I would not expect it to be too surprising if a veteran like Dean Wade or somebody else, Darius Garland, could get traded for some sort of help shooting or cap flexibility so they don't have to worry about doing salary cap gymnastics in the offseason. And Kenny Atkinson, if he loses in the second or first round, I think that would then kind of create questions that, was he the right coach? I think he would still have another year, but then even more pressure would be mounted. Now, with Mobley's contract changing and everything, there's going to be the whole salary cap gymnastics that they're going to have to figure out. But I think this is a team that's going to finish as a top 2 seed in the East, at least 55 to 60 wins, maybe more. They might be the Eastern Conference Finals contender if everything holds up. Worst thing is their offensive creation and they're shooting craters in the playoffs again, and they aren't able to go deep. So if you made it to the end of the video, obviously hit that subscribe button because you clearly like this type of content. And I want to hear your guys' predictions and thoughts. What do you think of the Cavaliers and how far will they go? So that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Until next time, guys. Bye.